Dozens on both sides of the same-sex marriage debate rallied outside of the Rowan County Courthouse this morning as the county clerk continues to not issue marriage licenses.
University of Kentucky police see a lot over the course of a day, and now everyone else can too. We'll take a look at the department's new body cameras.
And take a look at this surveillance video, why a theft like this could end up with money coming out of your pocket.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
We continue to track the investigation into a deadly hit and run involving a bicyclist in Lexington. Within the last hour, we have learned that the person on that bike, the victim, was a man.
The crash happened about 3 on Newtown Pike near New Circle Road. Police say the driver hit the bicyclist and then drove off from the scene. We're told witnesses were able to give them a license plate number and a description of the driver, and officers were then able to track down the driver at the home. The driver has been taken to the hospital. The coroner has not released the name of the victim. We will have more from the scene coming up for you on WKYT News at 6.
Some new tools for UK police. The department bought body cameras for every officer.
The cameras will record everything the officers do while they're on patrol. Phil Pendleton shows us how the cameras work and how they will help officers in our top story at 5:30.
The UK police chief says that they started researching these body cameras long before the officer-involved shooting in Ferguson, Missouri. They spent 16 months researching them and then made the decision to provide every patrol officer with one. This is video shot from the officer's body camera as I was interviewing the chief about them. The officers turn on the cameras by simply opening its lens, and it records audio and video of whatever the officer sees and experiences on the job.
Well, one, I think it's going to help us a lot in protecting our officers against frivolous complaints. The second thing is going to also help in our prosecution of cases.
Police say the cameras have already helped them deal with what was a complaint about an officer accused of using excessive force during an arrest.
And when they looked at the video, they realized it wasn't what they had thought because they may have been intoxicated. So they withdrew their complaint.
Well, the chief tells me these cameras are not cheap, they're very expensive, but he says the university wanted to do what they could to improve the UK Police Department's investigations and their accountability. In Lexington, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Police say they are also looking at other types of cameras that could help in large crowd control situations like in Final Four national championship celebrations.
Now to our top story tonight. Just 2 months after it legalized same-sex marriage nationwide, a Kentucky county clerk is asking the U.S. Supreme Court for permission to not issue licenses. This afternoon, Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis asked U.S. District Judge David Bunning to let her hold off on issuing licenses until her appeal is finished. Bunning originally set a deadline of August 31st. Hillary Thornton talked to Davis's supporters and the protesters who were outside the county courthouse today.
They have been setting up outside the Rowan County Courthouse for about 2 months now.
She's allowed to believe whatever she likes. We don't have a problem with that. The only problem with that is she took an oath for the Constitution to uphold it.
The group you can see here behind me out here supporting same-sex marriage says they will continue to be out here each day the office is open until something changes. As they continue rallying in hopes of a change, another group also gathered outside the courthouse Friday morning. This group in support of Kim Davis, welcoming Casey County Clerk Casey Davis, making a stop on his bicycle ride from Pikeville to Paducah in support of the Rowan County Clerk.
Our governor would do, as he's so eloquently put it to me so many times, lay his personal beliefs aside and do his job. That this can all end in a peaceful way, and it can end fairly for everyone. There is a solution. The solution is simply take the state out of the issuance of marriage license altogether. Let the authorization of marriage license come at the hands of the person that solemnizes the wedding.
The two clerks stood with their supporters before then going inside for a short meeting. Soon after, we learned at some point today Kim Davis filed documents asking U.S. District Court Judge David Bunning to extend his stay. According to those court documents, Davis also filed an emergency application with the Supreme Court today. However, officials with the Supreme Court say they have not received anything. In Rowan County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
And there's even more to the story now. We have just learned the Rowan County Attorney's Office has filed a charge of official misconduct against Kim Davis, the clerk. We'll have more on the new information ahead on WKYT News at 6 o'clock. 3 people arrested at the Kentucky State Fair yesterday answered to a judge this morning. Police say they arrested Chris Hartman and 2 others for refusing to sit down when the Kentucky Farm Bureau's Country Ham Breakfast started. We're told they were protesting the Farm Bureau's stand on gay rights and other issues. The 3 entered not guilty pleas to failure to disperse. One of them was also charged with disorderly conduct.
Students and staff at a southeastern Kentucky college got a lesson in what to do if there is an active shooter on campus today. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Letcher County. Today, law enforcement held drills at the Whitesburg campus of Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College. While state law doesn't allow weapons on school campus, state police taught staff defensive tactics and how to handle the stressful situation.
Know your environment and where you're at, and think of what you can do if something were to happen, and the best tools to have around you if something were to happen.
Schools in Knott, Breathitt, Letcher, and some in Perry County have also gone through active shooter training with state police. In Franklin County, crews will be closing sidewalks on Frankfort Singing Bridge. We're told repairs are needed and the sidewalk closure will not disrupt traffic on the bridge. The State Transportation Cabinet says that an engineering firm looked at the bridge and found that it cannot safely hold pedestrian and vehicular traffic. The sidewalk will be closed through the winter. Crews hope to reopen the sidewalks by spring.
It was nice while it lasted. We're tracking some changes to our beautiful fall-like weather for the weekend. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has the details on maybe some storms and an early look at the forecast.
Yeah, it looks like scattered stuff going to pop as we go into our weekend, though we get one more very nice evening here across central and eastern Kentucky. Defender with nothing on it, a little bit of cloud cover, upper 70s north, a lot of low 80s that are showing up across most of central and eastern Kentucky. As we look outside with Defender, no precipitation, even as some clouds are beginning now to pop up throughout the region. Live sky cams, Frankfort, Georgetown, Lexington, down into northern parts of Madison County. We are seeing now a partly cloudy sky. Downtown Lexington overall with some fair skies that are out there too. And we're going to continue to hang on to the nice weather across most of central and eastern Kentucky for out and about this evening. The tropics are busy. This is Erica. Erica is barely hanging on to a tropical storm status as of now. It's going to make a run eventually toward Florida. Right now, it does not look like it will become a hurricane, and it is struggling to maintain tropical storm status as it stands right now.
Yeah, this is sort of becoming a puny kind of storm, isn't it?
It really is. It's losing a lot of punch across the Caribbean.
It's been really quiet talking about storms down there.
Yeah, not only this year, really for the past 3 years. It's been a quiet pattern in the tropics. That obviously not always the case, but here of late, we've had a lot of quiet times.
Yeah, well, speaking of, it has been nearly 10 years since a hurricane made landfall along Florida's coast. With Erica now being a tropical storm, the hurricane drought should continue, but Jim Caldwell tells us what impact tropical systems can have on our weather right here in Kentucky.
Tropical storm Erica is forecast to make landfall along the Florida coast within the next few days. While Florida and its residents aren't strangers to tropical activity, the folks living in the Sunshine State haven't experienced a major hurricane since the record-breaking season of 2005, and that was when Wilma was the last major hurricane to make landfall anywhere in the United States. The impacts of that season were felt all along the coast and throughout the country. Here in Kentucky, a direct impact while a storm is at its peak won't happen, but we have seen weakening storms swing by and produce heavy rains, strong winds, and even snow. We think back to October 2012. Hurricane Sandy brought snow to parts of eastern Kentucky. The highest elevations picked up close to a foot of snow. Keep in mind, winter doesn't start until December. In 2008, the remnants of Hurricane Ike moved just north of Kentucky and brought winds gusting up to 80 miles per hour and a lot of damage. And just earlier this year, Tropical Depression Bill tracked right over the Commonwealth of Kentucky, bringing more heavy rains and gusty winds. Even with Erica making landfall, the true impacts will not be anything close to what we've seen from other major systems here in Kentucky. In Lexington, I'm WKYT meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
Now, coming up in just a bit in weather, Chris is going to have more on if Tropical Storm Erica is going to have any impact on our weather here in the Bluegrass.
What happens when thieves decide to steal valuable equipment belonging to the U.S. Postal Service? You end up paying the bill. It begins with one criminal operation postal inspectors uncovered. You are watching surveillance tape of a sting operation in process at a postal yard in White Plains, New York. The camera is following a white truck being driven by an accomplice in the theft and sale of what the Postal Service calls pallets, huge containers that transport mail from one postal facility to another.
We were able to set up a buy in which we provided Mr. Iannacone with investigative funds, that is money to purchase that, and we even rented a Ryder truck for him. He drove it into the facility as always.
From there, authorities followed the Ryder truck to a third party prepared to pay thousands of dollars for the valuable pallets.
He was not an employee and picking up truckloads of our pallets. Postal pallets being grinded down and resold across our border.
He is an independent truck driver who delivered mail to the facility. He had access to these pallets and was selling them to a recycling plant.
The recycler will grind them up and they would eventually turn them into some type of other plastic product.
They are part of a $1 billion product purchase the Postal Service makes over the span of a decade. If you think this crime doesn't affect you, think again.
What you're doing when you steal that equipment or sell it at your own profit, you're essentially cheating the American public because, again, the Postal Service is an independent agency, totally self-funding. We don't get taxes to fund operations, so we do have to pass the cost of running this nation's mail system onto the consumers. And the men involved were charged with theft of government property. The University of Kentucky topping 30,000 students for the second year in a row.
And presidential candidate Donald Trump says he is working on an overhaul of the federal tax system. Bill Bryant tells us what Trump's plan includes in the bottom line.
Good evening. For the second year in a row, enrollment at the University of Kentucky will top 30,000 students for this semester. UK's provost, Dr. Tim Tracy, joined me for a Kentucky Newsmakers interview. He talks about the new dorms and other projects and all about the excitement on campus as the new year starts and about the large number of students enrolled.
It's our most diverse class we've ever had, also our most academically prepared class coming in as freshmen. Our students are going to be over 30,000 again for 2 years in a row, and we'll bring in more than 5,200 freshmen this year.
Now, also on Kentucky Newsmakers, Lexington Police Chief Mark Barnard talks about the new kind of officers he's trying to recruit to the department. He also addresses gang concerns and talks about getting ready for UK football games. Kentucky Newsmakers runs in its entirety Sunday morning at 6 on WKYT. It repeats Sunday at 10 a.m. on the CW Lexington. Set your DVR or catch it then. Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump is promising to come forward soon with an overhaul of the federal tax system. The billionaire calls himself, quote, the king of the tax code, and he has indicated that he believes wealthy Americans should pay more. And as Vice President Joe Biden considers getting in the Democratic race and taking on Hillary Clinton for the nomination, Clinton forces are making moves. Clinton is rolling out a series of endorsements and is scheduling fundraisers all over the country. Many observers believe it's an attempt to quickly throw cold water on the prospects of a potential Biden candidacy. Back in Kentucky, Republican candidate for Agriculture Commissioner Ryan Quarles is accusing the father of Democratic candidate Jean Marie Lawson Spann of texting answers to her during forums and debates. Spann's father, Sam Lawson, strongly denied the charge to the Herald Leader. He says it's the silly season. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
This is pretty incredible. They have been in business for 100 years, and it is a milestone they are celebrating with the community.
Toyota South in Richmond has been owned by the same family since they opened in 1915. The family has been celebrating since Thursday, but they have several events lined up for Saturday.
100 years is a long time, and obviously very few families are fortunate enough to be able to do what they loved for 3 generations. And actually, my daughter's involved now, so we're 4 generations. But that's the thing. More than anything else, we're just lucky to be able to do what we love.
They will be grilling out tomorrow from 11 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon at all 4 Gates locations. They'll be offering pizza from 4 to 7 and then a free Lauren Mink concert from 5 to 8 tomorrow night. So a lot of good things happening. With every vehicle bought, a donation will be made to one of 3 charities.